When we met with the detectives after Johnia was murdered, they said, that Tennessee didn't take DNA from arrested felons. So I was shocked. And I said, oh, I remember talking with them that day, and I said, oh, that needs to be changed. So, we got in touch with the legislator, and he put it into motion, and it did take two sessions for it to pass, and but that's all we had, was the DNA, and you're not aware that the law is like it is until something like this happens to you. The perpetrator has more rights than the victim. That's the way our law is now. It angers me to think that our system is the way it is. So, I have grandchildren coming up in the world, going out into college and everywhere. I want it to be a safer place. I want it to be a safer place for everybody. The Johnia Berry Act was passed in 2007. So it's a law now that if you are arrested for certain violent crimes, that your DNA will be taken. We weren't aware that Tennessee didn't take DNA until after Johnia was murdered, so that's why we worked so hard to get it. I know a lot of other states have DNA passed. Tennessee, I think, was the 7th state that passed DNA, and now there's 32, 4 or 5, I don't remember exactly how many, that has passed the DNA Act now. Johnia had no enemies. She loved everybody. Everybody loved her. She was never in trouble. We just couldn't imagine who would ever do anything like this to her. So, that's the only hope that we had, was the DNA. She worked that day. She went home that evening, and he was just a thief out in the middle of the night, breaking into cars and
got separated from his other thief roommate.
And came into her apartment looking for it. He said he was looking for a set of keys with a clicker because he needed a ride. So he said he used his cell phone, shining it around, looking for a set of keys. And when he didn't find them, he said he went into the bedroom at the end of the hall because he noticed that the door was opened. And John had never liked her door to be closed at night. Forever. I mean, she didn't like her door being closed, so, we'd tell her good night, and she'd say, I'd go in and tell her good night, and she'd say, don't close my door all the way, Mom, So he said he thought he would quietly slip in there and look for keys, and she woke up, and he said she kept asking, who are you, what do you want? And he said he told her to chill out, and when she started screaming and fighting to get out, he said the fight was on. So, and Johnia was a very strong girl. She danced for years. She took ballet, jazz, tap, acrobatics. She was a cheerleader. She had 2 brothers that she wrestled with all the time. She was, she was a strong girl, but, it just, there's never a good reason to take another life. There's just not. And he invaded her privacy. He came into her home, and he brutally murdered her. He was arrested. Was the weekend of our anniversary. So that was like a gift from Johnia. And he was in jail for 6 months, maybe.
September till April.
And then he hung himself in the county jail. And I have to tell you, I'm glad he's dead. I would not want to have to go through the justice system. I have seen so many people go through the justice system that's had a murdered family member, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You know, they come up for parole, and these people have been fighting for years for justice for their family member that was brutally murdered, and that's not justice. You know, that's not justice. Johnia doesn't get a second chance. Other family members, other victims, they don't get a second chance. It's heartbreaking to think that, you know, this is one definite way of finding out who committed a crime.